They say loyalty is black and white. You're either in a relationship or you're not. But attraction doesn't follow rules. It slips through cracks, hides in gestures, whispers through silence. What if the woman who's already taken is still secretly drawn to you? Welcome back to Psychology Insight, the place where we decode human behavior, relationships, and the hidden truths no one wants to say out loud. Today, we're uncovering 10 forbidden signs that she's secretly into you, even if she's already taken. Watch carefully, because these aren't just coincidences. They're psychology in motion. And if you stay till the end, I'll share one bonus sign that most men completely miss. Sign 1, her voice softens around you. Most men don't pay attention to tone. They listen to what she says, not how she says it. But if you really want to know whether a woman feels something forbidden for you, study her voice. Psychology has already proven that vocal changes happen when attraction is present. Women unconsciously shift their tone when they're speaking to someone they're drawn to. It's not a calculated move, it's instinct. Picture this. You're in a group setting. She's chatting with others, her tone is normal, steady, professional, maybe even a little sharp. Then she turns her head to you, and suddenly, her voice lowers. It's not just volume, it's texture. Softer, slower, almost musical, like she's letting a side of herself slip that no one else gets to hear. That shift is not an accident. It's her subconscious way of saying, you matter more than the rest. And here's the kicker. This difference can be so subtle you might question if you're imagining it. But notice how often it repeats. Does she laugh more easily when you're around? Does her laugh sound lighter, warmer, even when your joke wasn't really that funny? That's not about humor. It's about chemistry. Laughter is a nervous system release, a body's way of signaling, I like how I feel near you. Now, not every woman who speaks gently is attracted to you. Some women naturally have soft voices. That's why context matters. Compare her tone with others versus with you. If she's firm, businesslike, or casual with everyone else, but her words melt into a softer rhythm when they're aimed at you, that's the giveaway. There's also the private voice effect. Around her partner, her friends, or coworkers, her tone may stay steady, but with you, she'll unconsciously shift into a different gear. It almost feels like intimacy hidden in plain sight. And because she's taken, she may never admit it directly, but her vocal cords will tell on her. So the next time you're doubting whether she's secretly drawn to you, don't just listen to her words. Listen to the music behind them. If her voice drops a little lower, turns a little smoother, or laughter spills out more easily when it's you, she's saying more than she'll ever admit out loud. Sign 2. Subtle changes in her appearance. Attraction doesn't always arrive in bold red lipstick or a new dress. Sometimes it hides in the tiniest changes, details so small you'd miss them if you weren't paying attention. A woman who's secretly drawn to you, even if she's already taken, will often send signals through her appearance. It's not about vanity, it's biology. Think about it. People naturally want to look better around the person they care about. With her, you'll notice little shifts. Maybe she adds a hint of perfume on days you're around, and you only catch the scent when she walks past. Maybe her hair looks just a bit more polished, or she applies a lip gloss she wasn't wearing yesterday. These aren't coincidences, they're subtle strategies. What's more telling is when her effort isn't for everyone. At work, the gym, or casual settings, she may have always leaned more toward comfort than style. But suddenly, she's showing up looking sharper, more intentional, especially on days she knows she'll see you. That's not random, that's targeted. Attraction gives her reason to upgrade, not for the world, but for you. And then there are her micro-adjustments. Watch when she's talking to you. Does she run her fingers through her hair, fix her outfit, tug her sleeves? These aren't meaningless fidgets. They're subconscious signs of wanting to be noticed, of wanting to project her best version in your presence. But here's the fine line. Don't mistake general confidence for attraction. Plenty of women dress well for themselves, not for anyone else. The key is in timing. If you notice these subtle upgrades aligning with your presence, like she's just a little more polished whenever you're near, that's where the truth hides. So remember, attraction doesn't need grand gestures. It lives in the lip gloss she reapplies right before speaking to you, the perfume that lingers, the way she straightens her posture when you walk in. These are not accidents. They are subconscious breadcrumbs of desire, ones she may never admit, but her body already revealed. Sign 3. She finds ways to be near you. When it comes to attraction, distance is never neutral. If she's into you, even if she's already committed, her body and choices will find ways to close the space between you. Proximity is one of the strongest psychological cues of desire. Picture this. You walk into a meeting and she chooses the seat closer to you instead of her usual spot. Or you're at the gym and suddenly she's showing up at the same time you do, even though she never did before. Maybe she accidentally bumps into you at your favorite coffee shop, and after a while, these accidents stop feeling accidental. That's the pull of attraction. People naturally gravitate toward the person they secretly want. Even in group settings, watch where she drifts. She may not walk straight to you, but somehow she ends up in your orbit, standing beside you in conversation circles, leaning closer when there are other places she could be. That's not chance. That's her desire leaking out in the safest way she can allow it. And here's what's even more telling. Does she linger after conversations? Does she hang around a second longer, even when she doesn't need to? That pause, that hesitation to leave your presence, is often the subconscious saying, I want to stay near you. Of course, not every coincidence means something, but when it becomes a pattern, her showing up, sitting close, appearing in your spaces more than before, it's worth noting. Her actions are moving her closer to you, even if her words never will. Because here's the truth. Attraction doesn't just live in what people say. It lives in where they place themselves, how they shift in your direction, and how much effort they make to stay near. If she's orbiting around you, finding reasons to share space, she's silently confessing far more than she thinks. Sign 4. Her touches aren't accidents. Touch is one of the most dangerous giveaways. Why? Because it's hard to fake, and it's even harder to hide. When a woman is secretly drawn to you, even if she's taken, her body will find reasons to make contact. And often these touches look so casual, you might brush them off as meaningless. But they're not. It could be as small as brushing lint off your shirt or tapping your arm when she laughs. Maybe her hand rests on your shoulder a second longer than needed, or she squeezes past you in a way that lets her hand graze your back instead of keeping a safe distance. On the surface, these seem innocent, but in psychology, touch is a form of micro-intimacy. It releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and creates a spark both people feel, even if no one says a word. Here's the test. Pay attention to frequency. A one-time touch? Sure, that could be coincidence, but if it keeps happening, different settings, different reasons, yet always with you, then it's no longer an accident. That's a pattern, and patterns reveal attraction. Another thing, watch how she reacts to your touch. Let's say you gently touch her arm during a laugh. Does she pull away quickly, or does she lean into it? Maybe she even finds a way to touch you back later in the conversation. If she reciprocates, even subtly, that's her subconscious sending a green light. And notice this, does she only do it with you? If she's tapping and touching everyone, that might just be her personality. But if she saves those small physical contacts for you, then you're not just another guy in the room. You're the one she wants that physical bridge with. Touch is primal. It bypasses logic, skips words, and goes straight to the body. If she's repeatedly creating reasons to touch you, playful or subtle, it's not by mistake. It's her body betraying the feelings her mind is trying to keep under wraps. Sign 5. She acts different around you. Attraction has a way of breaking consistency. People usually behave the same way with everyone. They have their rhythm, their style. But when someone they secretly want walks in, that rhythm cracks. If she acts differently around you compared to everyone else, that's one of the strongest forbidden signs. For some women, attraction shows up as nervousness. Maybe she fidgets, stumbles over words, or plays with her hair more when you're near. You notice her adjusting her necklace, tugging her clothes, or biting her lip. These aren't random tics. They're her subconscious trying to manage the tension she feels when you're close. Other women go the opposite way. Instead of nervous, they light up. They tease you more, laugh harder, or give you their full attention in a way they don't with others. It's like your presence flips a switch, bringing out a side of her that isn't visible to the rest of the world. Picture this. You're in a group setting. She's casual, laid back, chatting normally. But the moment you step in, she suddenly shifts. Her posture straightens, her tone changes, she gets more expressive. That difference isn't just a coincidence. It's a reaction. Attraction disrupts. And here's what makes this so revealing. It's hard for her to control. Words can be planned. Smiles can be forced. But behavior that changes the moment you arrive, that's instinct. It shows that your presence has an impact she can't hide. So if you find her acting one way with others, but something entirely different with you, nervous, playful, more open, more alive, that's her subconscious betraying her feelings. And if she's taken, it's even more forbidden, because it means her guard is cracking where you're concerned. Sign 6. Her eyes betray her words can lie. Eyes rarely do. When it comes to forbidden attraction, her eyes are often the loudest truth tellers. You'll notice it not because she stares openly, but because she can't help giving herself away in tiny ways. Here's the first sign. Stolen glances. She looks at you when she thinks you're not watching, then quickly looks away the second your eyes meet. That microsecond of panic? That's her subconscious saying, I was caught. Second, lingering eye contact. With most people, eye contact lasts a moment and breaks. But with you, it's just half a beat longer. That extra second is loaded. It's vulnerability, it's interest, it's chemistry. Science even backs this up. Studies show pupil dilation happens when we look at someone we're attracted to. So if her eyes look bigger or softer when she's staring at you, that's biology, not imagination. But here's the thing. Eyes don't just reveal attraction, they reveal emotion. You might notice her eyes soften when you talk, or flicker with curiosity and warmth. That subtle shift in expression is her inner world bleeding through. Try this. Hold her gaze a fraction longer during conversation. Don't overdo it, just enough to test. If she holds it back, even slightly, it's confirmation. Attraction lives in those silent exchanges. A woman can choose her words carefully, but her eyes will always betray what her heart is trying to hide. And if she's already taken, those eyes become even more dangerous, because they'll tell you the truth her lips will never dare to say. Sign 7. She asks you deep questions. Most people keep conversations safe, weather, work, surface-level stuff, but when a woman is secretly into you, she'll want more than just your day was fine answers. She'll push past small talk, because attraction isn't just about looks, it's about emotional curiosity. You'll notice her asking things that make you pause. Instead of, "How was your weekend?" she might ask, "If money wasn't an issue, what would you really do with your life?" Or, "What's one thing about you most people don't know?" These questions aren't casual, they're invitations. She's pulling at threads, wanting to see the real you underneath. Why does this matter? Because people don't waste emotional energy on those they feel nothing for. If she's taken, but still investing time to dive into your mind, that means you're not just another face in her world. You've crossed into significance. Watch how she reacts to your answers. Does she lean in? Ask follow-ups? Remember details weeks later? Maybe you told her about a tough meeting, and the next time you see her, she asks how it went. That's not politeness. That's emotional tracking. And here's the twist. She'll often mirror this by opening up herself. If she starts sharing her own dreams, regrets, fears, or secrets, that's vulnerability. Vulnerability is intimacy, and intimacy is not something she hands out freely, especially if she's already in a relationship. So pay attention. If your conversations with her feel more like late-night heart-to-hearts rather than casual chit-chat, then you've crossed a line. She's emotionally connecting, maybe even more than she should. And in psychology, that level of curiosity and openness is one of the clearest signs of hidden attraction. Sign 8. Subtle jealousy slips out. Here's a truth most men overlook. Jealousy is attraction's shadow. A woman who feels nothing for you won't flinch when you mention another woman. But if she's secretly into you, even though she's taken, her mask will crack. It might be quick, almost unnoticeable. You bring up a female friend and suddenly her tone shifts. Maybe she laughs it off, but there's a sharpness in her voice. Maybe she dismisses the girl with a comment like, "She doesn't really seem like your type." Or she goes quiet, avoiding the subject altogether. These are micro-reactions, but they speak volumes. Sometimes it's disguised envy. You say you went out with someone, and she jokingly replies, "Wow, she must be special if you're talking about her." It sounds light, but underneath there's tension. That's jealousy wrapped in humor. In other cases, she flips the script, suddenly mentioning her own partner more often, almost as if to remind you she's taken. That's not random. It's her way of creating distance while her feelings betray her inside. Jealousy in this context isn't always explosive. It's subtle, fleeting, and often hidden behind smiles. But psychology teaches us that jealousy is rarely about possession, it's about fear. Fear of someone else having what you wish you had the right to claim. So the next time you casually mention another woman and notice even the slightest change in her energy, don't ignore it. Jealousy is one of the rawest, hardest to hide signs of secret attraction. And when it shows up, it's telling you she feels more than she'll ever admit out loud. Sign 9. Her body language points to you. Words can be carefully chosen. Body language? Almost impossible to control. That's why it's one of the strongest signs to look for when trying to decode forbidden attraction. When a woman is secretly into you, her body will orient toward you even when her mind tells her not to. Notice her torso, her shoulders, her feet. In group settings, do they point in your direction even when she's speaking to someone else? That's subconscious alignment. It shows where her attention and desire really lies. Mirroring is another big giveaway. If you cross your arms, she does. If you lean back, she follows. This isn't mimicry. It's a deeply ingrained psychological signal of rapport. Her body is unconsciously syncing with yours, creating harmony. Look for signs of openness. Does she lean in when you speak? Does her posture shift from closed off to open the moment she's near you? Those physical adjustments are instinctive. They happen without thought. Then there are the vulnerability cues most men miss. A woman who feels comfortable and attracted will often expose delicate areas like her neck or wrists. If she plays with her necklace, brushes her hair to one side, or lightly touches her wrist while talking to you, that's not random fidgeting. That's her body subconsciously signaling trust. Even in stillness, her body might betray her. A slight tilt of the head, a lingering lean, her knees angled toward you under the table. All of these are small, silent messages. So remember, her words may hold back, her lips may say nothing, but her body rarely lies. And when it points toward you again and again, it's her subconscious confessing what her conscience won't. Sign 10. She's emotionally invested in you. Flirting fades. Looks catch attention, but eventually blur. But emotional investment? That's the deepest sign of all. If a woman who's already taken starts investing her emotions into you, you've crossed into forbidden territory. Here's what it looks like. She remembers the little things. Weeks ago, you told her about a project, and now she's asking how it went. You mentioned your favorite drink, and she surprises you with it later. That's not casual memory, it's emotional tracking. She cares enough to hold on to your details. She also checks in. If she knows you've had a rough day, she asks how you're holding up. If something good happens, she celebrates genuinely with you. This isn't surface-level friendliness, it's involvement. She's attaching herself to your highs and lows, almost like she has a stake in your emotional world. And notice how much she shares in return. If she starts revealing her own struggles, fears, or personal dreams, she's opening doors most people never get to see. Vulnerability is intimacy, and intimacy, especially when she's already with someone else, means you're more than just a casual presence in her life. This is where it gets serious, because attraction without emotion might fade, but once emotion gets involved, it's harder to pull back. When she starts treating you like someone whose feelings matter deeply to her, she's no longer just attracted, she's emotionally entangled, and in forbidden dynamics, that's the most powerful and dangerous sign of all. Now you know the 10 forbidden signs a woman may be secretly into you, even if she's already taken. But here's the truth. Recognizing these signs doesn't mean you should always act on them. Attraction is natural, but wisdom is knowing when to respect boundaries. Because sometimes the best power is not in chasing, but in understanding. If this video gave you value, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown like this. Comment below with, "I see the signs," if you spotted them in your own life. And don't leave yet. YouTube thinks you'll love the next video I've lined up for you right here. Tap it, and I'll see you there.